it doesn't matter. As we see the 70, Christian Daniel Jr., a former flat tracker, rising through the ranks in the US, overtaking Max Quiles in towards turn 16, outbraking him. Christian Daniels into 5th place. Stand up, America.
And I think, you know, Max Quiles is going to be very, very frustrated with this. This isn't what he wants at all. This isn't going to help his charge to finish in the first 3 guys in the cup.
And I've got to give a shout out as they cross the line to complete that first lap. Milan Pavelec, the Polish rider. I mean, they do say rain is the great leveller, and he is someone who has really struggled in his first year of Rookies Cup. He doesn't know the circuits, but look at the talent he's got there, up into 8th place from the back row of the grid.
Just what we wanted, really, to turn things around here, to open up all the possibilities. It still is Hakim Danish from Brian Iriarte. And Hakim had a superb first lap, but Brian Iriarte has very much responded.
Peter, look at the difference in the way that Hakim just threw that bike into the corner there in comparison to Brian Iriarte. This is a rider, he's so used to riding this sort of difficult conditions out in Malaysia, spends so much time at the Sepang International Circuit, riding around there in whatever condition. They are just so used to it out there.
They are indeed. And there's a 73 of Peroni in 3rd place, and but I sure points as he can over Alvaro Carpe, who's still back in 4th place.
There is Veda Pratama behind Guillaume Plong there. So whereabouts are they? They are fighting for 11th spot. They've got Marco Morelli ahead of them. He started 13th on the grid. As we see Pedro Costa, former rookie, MotoGP rider, done a few things in bike racing, watching on.
Yeah, and he really loves coming to chat with the guys from the Rookies Cup. These are the guys who looked after his motorcycle a couple of years ago when he was Cup champion.
Well, we've been shouting for Christian Daniel Jr. moving up to 5th place, but he's just been overtaken by Milan Pavelec into 5th place as well. The Polish rider was taken out yesterday in that 3-rider pile-up. Well, he's into 5th place now from the back row. That is absolutely incredible.
And superb stuff, considering that he's, last couple of years he's been riding big super bikes, and now he's riding something completely different.
He's just got into 4th, Peter. He's overtaken our series leader, Alvaro Carpe. He's a man on a mission. Look at him there, the number 44, ahead of the 83, who's fishtailing all over the place. That is apparently a characteristic of these Pirelli wets rather than a bike issue. We found out in Moto 3 yesterday. But look at this, Peter. The 44 is in 4th.
Yeah, absolutely superb stuff. And you saw that fishtailing, he's obviously upset by being in the slipstream. Just a little bit of a buffeting sets it off. And as you say, that's a characteristic of the tyres. Nothing too much to worry about. Wow, superb stuff from Christian Daniel Jr. Wow, brilliant stuff on the brakes to go past Milan Pavelec.
Oh, they've gone down. Carpe's down. Oh, my goodness.
This is changing things. He's running there to pick up the bike again, but he is the points leader. He is now down. The points are disappearing. His lead is disappearing.
This is why we say, Peter, never say never in Rookies Cup. You gotta be careful, because one day you might wake up and it's pouring rain and down you go at turn 1.
Right, so Christian Daniel goes down, and is Alvaro unsighted?
Just the exact same spot.
Yes, that same spot there. Now, as I saw him go away up the track, his left foot was dangling, he was waving around. I wonder if he lost the footrest when he went down.
He's clearly watching Hakim Danish. He is learning every single time. As we see, unfortunately, Sullivan Mounties entered the pits. That's a shame for the number 4. Got to keep an eye out for Brits in this sort of weather as well. Iriarte stalking Hakim Danish, and this has completely changed the complexion of the championship.
And there's still 7.5 laps remaining at this race.
Goodness me.
Yeah, so wow, and it's clear it's a wet, cold morning here. I don't think it's actually raining, but the track conditions are not going to change significantly before the end of the race. So these guys have got used to how much grip there are around, and let's see what they can make of it.
Well, there is Valentin Peroni. 3rd place he is at the moment. I'm not going to jinx anybody. He's got Milan Pavelec behind him. Pavelec definitely on the prowl. It's sitting fairly solid at 2.7 seconds. Quiles, he's finding his groove as well. I think he's the type of rider now. I mean, he's not ridden in the rain like this since he's had that enormous growth spurt. So let's see how he handles it as the race goes on.
And ahead of him, of course, is our Flying Finn, and he's used to, he races on the ice, races in all sorts of conditions. So that's a really good news for our Flying Finn on the number 27.
So where has Carpe rejoined? As I look on our screens, he is in 24th position. He's found out that his main contender is out of the running.
Of course, he has pit board, so his his mechanic helper can tell him that. Both Danish and then Pironi set fastest laps of the race so far, so they're obviously exploring the grip limits and just pushing all the time.
Christian Daniel, meanwhile, he crossed the line in 16th position. He's got a 3-second gap to Leo Ramerstorfer for the first point. It's a real shame for Christian, because that was looking to be a heck of a ride for him.
Yeah.
Well, there is Milan.
But if he's broken the gear change lever, that'll be something even an awful lot worse.
Quiles is not feeling confident, Peter. He crossed the line and he was 4.8 seconds off Rico Salmela. The second sector, he was 5.9. He clearly made a big mistake, and he's just let through Veda Pratama there.
That's right. He didn't look happy at all, and Veda had no problem in going past him.
He just basically, he might as well have waved him through, frankly. As we look at Joel Ponza, 16 in the middle of this group as well. This is a good ride from him in 10th.
That's right, and if he doesn't watch out, Kies is going to be passed by a whole group. He could be passed by about 5 riders here. They're right behind him, including, good guys like Ruche Moodley.
Ruche, José Guillaume Plong as well. I mean, a French rider, although I'm told jokingly by his friends in the tent that he's basically Spanish. He spent so much time in Spain. Still, a French rider, probably not too afraid of a bit of rain either.
No.
As he's up there into 8th position. Now we've got Rico Salmela has overtaken Milan Pavelec. They're looking like they've done a motocross race in FP1.
I haven't actually seen any areas where there's sort of rivers of water running across the track. It does seem reasonably well drained, but we'll keep an eye open for that.
Hakim Danish, I don't want to say anybody's looking solid, because you never know.
Yeah.
But he has so far been very, very fast out there as Hakim Danish. When was his last? Has he taken a victory yet in Rookies Cup? I don't think he has.
I don't think he has, no.
There we go, brilliant. So there's Ariarte then, still feeling his way around as we see Carter Thompson, and could well be at risk of losing that 3rd place to Rico Salmela.
And there he goes. Whoa, that it was a nasty sort of flick over the high side. Good to see that he's up and over.
Talent Cup, both graduates there for this season.
Yeah, and as you say, Hakim hasn't had a great second half of the season. He's 11th, 10th, 14th, 14th, 14th. So, compared with his 2nd and 3rd early in the year.
But was reading yesterday from some news articles that there are a couple of resurfaced patches since then, because of teething issues of when you initially resurface a track. That could be the reason, a slightly different surface, as to why the likes of Carpe and Christian Daniel went down at that point earlier on in the race.
And you mentioned Carpe still down in 20th place, so he's got a little bit of work to do to get into the points. And in fact, he's got a big gap from 17th to 16th and 15th. So it's going to be...
Goodness me, and Max Quiles is going to come through and see that. And goodness me, this is why you cannot count anybody out.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can get... It's not easy to get it going. He's deep in the gravel there. He's getting help, but that's not easy. I don't see even where the nearest patch of dry land is, if you like, out of the gravel patch. So it's going to take him a long time.
It's like us. Pironi's trying to get the gravel out. His screen's all broken and everything. This
was catching him and, tried to turn up the wick.
And if you're going to go down anywhere on track, that is the place where you're probably going to stack it, because it is extremely down. Quiles has had an issue as well. He's gone down to 12th place, Peter. Christian Daniel's in 11th after crashing. What a ride this is from him.
Incredible. Plank up to 7th. Race on the
start and finish straight last time to 5th in this lap as well. So something's gone on back in the pack a little bit that we've missed. And suddenly, Peony the 94 is in a great position.
Right, so Rico's got 3.6 seconds to catch Brian Ariarte. There are only... 3 laps remaining, and he wasn't that much quicker on the last lap, but let's see what he can do now. He can just focus on Brian Ariarte ahead.
Well, here we go then. Here's Carpe battling with Boggio and Cessa. Look how filthy the fairings are, Peter. I mean, it's not just the rain and the wets they've got to contend with. There's clearly so much dirt on the track from the rain as well.
And of course, the fact that Pironi had a fall and that has gone out of things. That's helped Carpe. He's now up into 18th place. He's still got 10. He's going to have to catch 10 seconds when he gets to front of this group before he gets to Zani, who is in 15th place. So he's still got work to do with only 2.5 laps remaining.
If you're Uriarte, what do? I mean, surely you will be aware that somehow that Pironi's gone out as well, and how treacherous it is. Surely you let Hakim Danish go. He's got 3 seconds on him.
But he can't afford to let Brian Uriarte pick up those points, I don't think.
Yeah.
Anyway. There's not. He's only going to pick up a handful of points at the bottom anyway. And yes, as you say, what do you do? Because of course, okay, in a way you've got nothing to lose. He doesn't. But if you hurt yourself, you can easily sprain, break a bone in a wrist or something. It doesn't have to be a big accident, and suddenly he's got a major problem for Misano.
Yeah, precisely.
So he really should, if I was his dad, I'd be telling him to take it easy. But I'm not.
Settle down.
Anyway, right, back with Hakim Danish. There is visibly the advantage he has over Brian Uriarte. Rico Salmela is behind and just...
It's mental our feed, and we can no... Oh, there we go. We've got it back now, thank goodness. Would have been a shame to miss this one. Racing scene. Him, Christian Daniels.
At the moment, he's making a huge... Looks on screen as though he is, really.
It's 2/10 closer than he was at the start and finish straight.
Yeah, that's not enough, is it? He's got to really close on him quicker if he's going to make any difference in the last lap and a half. There's the 83 of Alvaro Carpe, and he still is outside the points in 17th place. And they're ahead of the point scoring places.
Yeah, 9.2 seconds is not something even Alvaro Carpe will haul in over. Not long after this. Intrigued to see what they...
Almost 6-second advantage over Brian Uriarte, having set his fastest lap of the race. So Hakim is not taking it easy, even though he's got well ahead of second place.
And I will say, although it's very interesting watching Alvaro Carpe, he's not getting any points. He's out of contention. I don't want to see him anymore. I want to see what's happening at the front, really.
Which is Rico Salmela closing in on Brian Uriarte.
That is the battle we need to see, ladies and gents in charge of the screens. We need to see Rico Salmela and Brian Uriarte, not Alvaro Carpe. He's not going to win the Cup today. It's done in minutes.
Right, so here we are, back with our race leader, the number 13, Hakim Danish. Where is Brian Uriarte and where are Rico Salmela?
Well, that is the big question, and our screen keeps chopping in and out. It keeps going blank. It's like it's giving us a guessing game, making it more interesting for us. But this is what we care about, Peter. It's 1 second between Rico Salmela and Brian. Rico's got second. Rico's got it, but we can't see because we're looking at Hakim Danish. There we have it. There he is. Finally, we've seen the battle for second. Wonderful news. Thanks for catching up with us, everybody.
Right, so there we are with just half a lap remaining. Rico Salmela has second place from Brian Uriarte. It's crucial that Brian Uriarte get past Rico if he can, because he needs those points if he's going to put Alvaro Carpe under pressure going into Misano in the last 2 races. Down the back straight for the last time, up into 6th gear. Who is going to be brave on the brakes at the end of the back straight? It is Brian Uriarte, who pulls out of the slipstream, but it's still a long way from home. It's that long sweeping left-hander. Who's going to find the grip and the drive over the finish line to chase Hakim Danish?
He's got the inside line. He's got it, but the screen's gone black.
Salmela has the drive. Salmela's got the superb drive up over the hill, and it's side by side. It's side by side as they run to the line. Who's got it? It's Brian Uriarte has the second place over Rico Salmela. Hakim Danish, the winner. Absolutely brilliant for the...
Let's stand up, Poland. What a ride for your man. The number 44 is 4th place. Christian Daniel Jr. from the deck to 5th place. America. That is brilliant. You've got a star in the making. Carter Thompson takes his equal best finish. What brilliant rides from how many of our rookies, Peter?
Yeah, Guido Pini, Ruche Moodley, Kies in 9th place. So that will be important points. And there is our Cup points leader, but he doesn't add to that score. He's 16th. He doesn't add to that score today.
Brilliant stuff. That was very, very interesting indeed. And here's Valentin Pironi, who will be crestfallen to come across the finish line. Nonetheless, his screen's back intact, but he will be livid with himself for that, because that could have been nearly sealing the deal for 3rd in the championship.
Right, and as I say, he'll be livid with that, as you say. Alvaro Carpe won't be happy at all, having lost all those points. But the most important thing, in a way, really, is that the guys were not injured in these falls. They haven't got, a broken bone in their hand, something silly, which is going to upset them. They all go fit to Misano for those last 2 races.
Hakim Danish, ladies and gentlemen, has taken his first Rookies Cup win of the season, and I believe ever. Fantastic stuff from him.
And that he is the 74th different Rookies Cup winner in our 18 seasons.
Brilliant. How much do we love that? When was the last Malaysian winner in Rookies Cup as well? That must be
I'm pretty sure
we, as well.
I don't think we've had a Malaysian winner of Rookies Cup. Yeah, another nation to add to our trophy. There are 18 different nations represented in the 26 rookies we have there today.
Brilliant. Well, Hakim Danish yesterday was in tears. He was so sorry for what happened with Max Keeles. He really doesn't like to be involved in those incidents. So it will be great to see his lovely smile today in Parc Fermé.
And he was
definitely be happy with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he said yesterday, with it only being 5 laps, he was coming off the the middle of the grid sort of thing, and he said it just wasn't enough time to get to the front. Of course, 2 years ago, this is where he won his only Rookies Cup race, and now he's very much back in the hunt here. With a superb third place. Absolutely brilliant ride from him.
Well, here is the race-winning overtake. Hakim Danish made his move in the initial opening corners.
Brian looked the wrong way.
Yeah, he did. Brilliant. Someone who's so aware and so intelligent. This was, brilliant stuff from this. What a final corner.
Yeah, well, it was, wasn't it? As I say, it's a long way from home, and it's overtake, re-overtake. Did they change places 2 times or 3 times between the end of the straight and the finish line? Absolutely brilliant stuff. And it looks there, Rico seems to have got it, but Brian has the drive and comes back underneath him. And there is the number 13, the race winner, way on his own. Just so happy. We're so happy for him. A wonderful character, and great to see him pick up his first win. And this is the run to the line from the 2 of them. As I say, Rico looked like he got it, but Brian had the drive and took that to such an